Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. This week we have a stealth and super sexy e-bike, the world's lightest production bike, and a bike to take a look at. Right, e-bikes. Yeah, I know. We've got a sister channel called EMBN that focuses on that. But this new range of bikes from British brand Ribble, the Endurance SLE range, well, their tyres are probably too skinny to be featured over with those guys, aren't they? However, they certainly caught our eye because these bikes look absolutely fantastic, don't they? Yeah, that's right. Gone are the days of those big bolt-on batteries and those terrifying wiring harnesses that just look like they would electrocute you in the rain.
Yeah, they did.
Aesthetics are important now, aren't they?
The
better it looks in this category.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, the first road bikes we were seeing, they had big old batteries, didn't they, on the down tube? But this, you look at that and you can't see it, can you?
No, it just looks like a normal bike with a big down tube. I think it looks really nice.
Now, the e-bike Motion X35 setup is what this bike's got hidden away inside of it. Catchy name, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit.
So that's a hub-based power system. So actually, from the side, you really can't actually notice the difference between that and, well, a standard bike. Although behind you are obviously going to see that oversized hub. This is the same system that Lloydie has also been rumoured to have used in the past. 250 watts it kicks out too. So on a full charge, that's going to give you apparently about 60 to 80 miles of use over a varied route. So that's quite a good going amount of time, isn't it, on the bike?
A lot more than some bikes have been able to do in the past, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much a fan of that. I might have to try and get one. And do you know what? E-bikes, they get a bit of a hard time, don't they, from some people out there, because people just think, well, it's not a real bike or anything like that. But in my eyes, if more people are out there riding on bikes, I'm more than happy with that. What about you?
Yeah, it makes it more accessible to more people, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
People that perhaps wouldn't have gone out and done a 20, 30 mile bike ride now are. And you can't hide from the exertion. At some point on an e-bike, you're going to be trying pretty hard.
Yeah, you definitely are, yeah. Whenever I've had to go on one and tried to keep up with people on the flat, when they really lay down the power, you can feel the extra resistance actually, can't you? Anyway, prices wise, £3,000, €3,400 or $4,000. Of course, that's the starting price and they work upwards depending on what group set you opt for.
Also, newly released is the Look 795 Blade RS. Look famously pioneered the clipless pedal way back in the
80s, about 1984, I think, something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, and now this new bike has been designed basically with aerodynamics in mind. So it's available in both rim and disc brake versions, and it's actually 5% faster than its predecessor, which in a game of cat and mouse really with aerodynamics, that's a considerable amount, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a lot,
yeah, and it's been done by some clever tweaking around the cables where they enter the frame, as well as the head tube. And also, they've done away with those integrated seat masts, which personally I was never really a big fan of on any bike. So they've got a standard seat post now, and the clamping mechanism for that is actually tucked away again out of the wind and comes in from the rear of the seat tube. So kind of like what we used to see on old Vituses, if anyone out there can remember those, of course.
Well, the seat post, aside from the way it clamps, is actually quite clever because you can have a seat angle from 71.8 degrees right up to 78.4, which is great not just for road racing but also for triathlon. And on the triathlon note, you've even got extra bottle cage mounts on the back of it, which is genius, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's versatile, isn't it, really? If you think about it, you can adjust your position that much. And even on the press release that we were sent, you can actually see how that bike can easily be transformed into a triathlon or time trial bike, something which you can't do on most modern road bikes, can you?
No, true.
Because it just doesn't work with the angles and the geometry, so fair play to them for that. Now, comfort on this bike isn't compromised, which is good to hear, isn't it? Because,
yeah, definitely.
Let's face it, a lot of aero bikes out there aren't necessarily that comfortable.
Bit stiff sometimes.
Yeah. So the idea behind this is that Look have used something called 3S technology, and that means that they want the bike to actually feel the same for both rim brake users as well as disc brake users. So they've got longer and more curved seat stays than normal, I guess is the easiest way to explain this. And they've actually done away with that brake bridge across the stays, which, well, let's face it, isn't needed if you've got disc brakes, but for rim brakes, what have they got?
Well, they've come up with something pretty clever, and I've never seen this before. It's like an extension arm from the back of the seat tube right down to where the caliper needs to be mounted, and it looks pretty funky.
Cool. It does look cool, doesn't it? It reminds me of a time trial bike from back in the early to mid 90s that like Jalabers, all of those guys were using. Yeah, it's just great.
Difficult to clean, maybe?
Yeah, it could be a bit of a pain to clean, but well, they've got mechanics, haven't they, those truck guys? But we haven't. But anyway, also, certainly worth noting
is the fact that the circular steerer of this fork is not circular, because it is in fact rectangular. So it's only going to be compatible with Look's own stem. One super benefit I see of this, no possible mischance or misfortune of aligning your stem badly.
I love that.
And I obsess over that.
Yeah.
You know, when you get a new bike and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's right. You just constantly, I don't know, you probably don't.
No, I do,
do
because sometimes with logos written on the front of bars, it can be quite hard to judge actually if the stem is on straight.
It's a great idea, that. Yeah, why hasn't someone done that before? We've done it with seat posts.
Yeah.
But now someone's going to write in the comments, it has been done before. And I'm going to...
This is better.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, more tech later on. Right then, mate. Aero frame or aero wheels? What would you... He hasn't even listened to us, but he knows. What would you choose for your riding?
Aero frame every day.
Why?
Well, because I love the idea of having something that's fast and saving me energy, but I don't want to get blown around by big aero deep wheels.
Yeah, I can see your point there. I remember one of the first times I used some pretty deep carbon wheels, and it was in a criterium. Well, it was like a circuit race.
Yeah.
It was a really, really windy circuit. We both know it, Thruxton. And the wind was howling, and I came around this right-hander, and the wind just caught me, and it just drifted me onto the grass on the other side. And I can relate to that, but part of me is still the whole psychological thing when you've got a pair of deeps in, and you're sprinting along, or in my case, riding along, but you still hear that noise underneath you.
Yep.
And they feel super stiff, don't they? Admittedly, I've not ridden on an aerodynamic frame much, but surely you miss the aero wheels.
Yeah, okay. So if it was a really still day and I was riding somewhere flat and I knew that there was going to be no wind, or I wasn't going to be, on a social ride, then of course, I love deep wheels.
Yeah.
But if I was going to have one bike set up and ride it every day of the week, everywhere, I'd want 35, maybe 40 mil wheels, which is still reasonably aero. They're just not, super, super aero. It's quite relaxed then. You don't get the gusts of the front wheel, and it's just a more enjoyable ride, in my mind. Yeah,
definitely. In fact, on everyday rides, I tend to opt for a really shallow rim. I just prefer that, actually, because there's, you can't control what's going on around you, can you? But let's face it, when we raced, we didn't really care, did we?
No,
we would just put whatever on because, there was 1,000,001 other things going on, wasn't there, all the time?
I remember one year I rode 80 mil wheels in every single race. So maybe that's why I'd also choose the aero bike nowadays, is because I did that on a non-aero bike.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I thought I was a bit of a hero.
But I guess what we really want to know is, what do the viewers opt for? Deep rims or an aero frame? You can't have both in this case because your pocket money doesn't extend that far. Because Ollie, he's been doing some research into the numbers behind this, and I'm super interested to find out, because apparently we had a little conversation around the desk. Ollie's probably going to kill me when he hears this, but he told me, or he reckons anyway, that modern day aero frames, so standard road race bikes, are as aerodynamic as the old Lotus 108 that Boardman used back in Barcelona 92.
That is incredible.
That's a big statement to make. Again, Ollie's not here to actually defend himself, and I may have misheard him, but
we're not giving him that chance.
But either way, I'm super interested to find out, because next week he's going to be here presenting some numbers as well as going through the poll. So vote up there: aero wheels or aero frame. What do you go for? Now, some of you out there, or in fact most of you I reckon, will remember a couple of weeks ago we touched on those super cool colourway disc wheels that the Canyon Sram team were using in the Women's World Time Trial Championships in Innsbruck. And the good news is, you can now get your hands on one of those in the 30th anniversary colourway if you so wish, because Zipp are releasing the Super 9 disc wheel in both clincher and tubular versions.
Nice, they look pretty cool. Do you reckon they come with those socks that they wore as well?
I hope so, because those socks, that for me is what really did it. If they just had the wheels on their own, I think that's a bold statement, like turquoise disc wheel, yellow disc wheel, things like that. It's pretty outrageous. But matching that with the socks, that looked fantastic. Now, sticking with socks, there has been an amendment to the UCI regulation around sock length, because let's face it, in the past it's been a bit radical, hasn't it? The extremes that some people have gone to in races.
Yeah, it has. 1.3033 has been amended, and it now states quite clearly that socks must not pass the midpoint between the knee bone and the ankle bone. So I imagine you'll see over the next 12 months that being clamped down, and you will have no more of those hideous long socks.
No, that's right. I mean, in the past, particularly around World Champs is when you really start to notice it. is that sock length becomes pretty unbelievable, doesn't it? You know, they creep up and up and up, and yeah, let's face it, the kneecaps have been touched, I reckon, in some occasions. So I think it's a really good rule, actually, because I don't know, there's something about it. It starts looking a bit silly, I guess.
It does, and it even crept into road racing. Like if they kept it in time trialing, you can kind of understand it.
Yeah.
But seeing it all the time in road races, which, let's all be honest, it's a vain sport.
It is, yeah.
Fashion over function every day of the week with road racing.
Yeah, it's good to have that rule changed.
Yeah. Staying with the world champs, have you seen Valverde's new rainbow bands?
Oh, I certainly have, yeah. Look good, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Well, Scottish brand Enduro Racing made the kit in less time than it took Valverde to win the race, with a little help from Movistar and the UCI.
That surprises me, actually, because I can imagine going between the UCI and Movistar, you know, 3 brands working together, trying to collaborate on what is okay and what's not in terms of the rainbow bands. It's not that straightforward process. I've seen the protocols of that in the past when I worked for a clothing manufacturer, and yeah, it's pretty strict. Now, what's interesting about this is that it can be done super fast thanks to dye sublimation printing, which, for those of you who aren't aware of it, imagine you've got a giant piece of transfer paper and it goes into a giant printer. Out comes the design in reverse, which is then heat transferred on via a great big press onto the clothing. That way it can be done in super fast time. None of this old screen printing malarkey, anything like that. It looks good, doesn't it?
It does look good. I'm just glad to see he's gone with black shorts.
Black? I'd love him to wear white shorts. I'm going to put my foot down on this. World champs should be using white shorts. Tom Boonen, he looked fantastic in white shorts.
Fair enough. On the topic of clothing, did you see these shoes, John?
Oh, that's a terrible pun, mate.
I'm
yeah,
proud
I
of it.
did.
Matteo Trentin has been spotted wearing customised European champion shoes, and I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? It's not, now, most pros out there, they don't really have that much of a free rein to use different equipment, do they? Because the sponsors, they want the riders to use what the fans can go and buy in the shop, let's face it. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. Yeah, if I was a sponsor, I'd want to sell all of the things which I've put all my money and time into. But if you're a champion, well, you've got free reign, haven't you?
Yeah.
And they look good, don't they, I reckon?
They do look cool.
Yeah, you see a lot of customised shoes, actually, on places like Instagram, don't you? People having like their own slogans put on shoes and stuff.
Yeah, shoe art seems to be a new thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe we should get into that. Don't know. I'm not very good at drawing, but well, maybe I'm all right with a spray can. I don't know.
I'll get you a biro.
Anyway, what do you at home think about this? Hot or not? Vote up there in the poll. Now, moving completely away from shoes, what about these lightweight brake calipers from Camilio? Now, Camilio, these are the 8th generation of the zero gravity brakes, and somewhere back in my workshop I've got a pair of, I think, the 2nd generation, and these ones look so futuristic compared to my old ones. Now, apparently, the Leki 8, well, Leki is the Polish word for lightweight, and 8, well, I don't really need to explain that bit, do I?
No, probably not. These fancy calipers weigh an absolutely insane 129 grams for a pair, which, even crazier than the weight themselves, 200 grams lighter than the equivalent Dura Race ones.
That is mad. How have they done it?
Well, carbon fibre, titanium, aluminium, and a hefty price tag, $540 for a pair.
Yeah, mind you, if you're going to build the lightest bike, that's probably what you're going to go for, isn't it? After all, they are the world's lightest calipers. And despite their chunky appearance, they look like they're really going to stop you well, don't they?
Yeah, I actually really like the appearance of them, like quite agricultural almost.
Yeah.
But still beautiful the way the carbon is.
Now, we're going to stay lightweight, and it's time for what has been dubbed as the world's lightest production road bike, the Tifosi Mons.
Don't worry, we're not going to mess around and tease you about the weight of it.
Yeah, we are. This lot, they love a tease. Look at them. Oh, I can see them.
No, 4.8 kilos, which is even lighter than that stalk that was on the show a couple of weeks ago at 5.3 kilos.
That is unbelievable, isn't it? Now, how have they done it? Well, they've got some super light finishing components. So AX Lightness, they provide the wheels, the bar, the stem. You've got clavicular cranks, Campagnolo Super Record. This is a lightweight machine, isn't it?
Yeah, they've gone to town on this.
Yeah.
But do you reckon they could have saved more weight with those calipers from before?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 grams, something like that. I suppose it depends if they can meet the production schedule of those Tifosi Mons bikes. Now, apparently, it actually started life as kind of like a little doodle project, I guess, in the engineer's sketchbook back at Tifosi HQ. I can imagine this, right? There he is, sat there. He's scribbling away thinking, this will never see the light of day, and it's gone and done it, hasn't it? It's about £10,000. 11,300 euros, or what's that, about $13,000. So they're not going to sell many, but I guess to claim, the fact that you've got the world's lightest production road bike, that's a good claim to have, isn't it? Now, finally this week, a bit of Kickstarter action, because I love a bit of Kickstarter. And Coupol are reinventing the helmet by making a 3D printed one, which is a first for me, certainly in the world of helmets.
Yeah, and that's not the only cool feature about this helmet either, as the outside of it features a low friction, what they're calling it the Collide safety system, which will help reduce rotational motion in the event of an accident, which should, you know, keep your neck safe.
That's right, yeah, so it's similar to the MIPS liner, that kind of thing. So I think that is really neat, actually, and it shows the capability of additive manufacturing. Also, interesting, this. Check this out, right? You've got loads of individual cushions inside of the helmet. So instead of having your usual layers of padding and that sort of thing, instead you've got all these little, well, they look like weird mushrooms almost, and they move around and it allows you to really have a super custom fit your helmet.
That's pretty cool. Fits like a glove, I would imagine.
Keep an eye on it. Kickstarter. More tech next week. Right, we've got some competition results to announce now, because there is a lucky winner of that Wahoo kicker and climb unboxing video from a few weeks back. Tell them who it is.
Yep, congratulations Tom Lockhart. You are now the proud owner of a Wahoo kicker and climb.
Oh, congratulations, Tom. And don't worry, we'll be in contact with you very shortly to arrange delivery of that one. He's a lucky lad, isn't he?
He is a bit.
Mate, I entered so many times. Now it's time for the part of the show where you could be in with a chance of winning a GCN Workshop Apron. But how do you do that exactly then? Well, you have to submit your upgrades that you've made to either your bike, your turbo trainer setup, your workshop, anything bike related, using the uploader tool. And there is a link to that down there in the description below. However, first up, we need to actually announce last week's winner, don't we? Go on.
Yeah, we do. Congratulations to Jason and your lovingly restored Conago. You walked away with 81% of the votes.
That was a landslide there, to be honest with you. Yeah, now you need to get in touch with us on Facebook to, well, arrange the delivery of that apron.
Yep, here it is.
Whoa, there we are.
Straight in the face.
Whoa.
But
You can get yourself one of those. But anyway.
Does he get a clean one?
Yeah, he certainly does, yeah. Well done, Jason. Nice one. Now, let's have a look then, shall we, at this week's entrants. First up, we got Ben from Peterborough in England. Now, Ben literally found this bike in a bush. Left for dead, she was badly beaten up, her wheels destroyed, forks bent, and even one chainstay was fully bananaed. Initially, Ben was just going to salvage usable parts, with most resigned to the scrap bins. It was only when Ben thought about his non-existent race season this year that he decided to try and give her an inappropriate send-off at the local hill climb organised by Peterborough Cycling Club and Fenland Clarion. The project developed randomly as Ben researched cheap ways of saving weight. Using carbon fishing pole from eBay, Ben cut out as much steel tube as he dared, bonding it with super strong epoxy-based silicone. The joints were vague at best. Components were drilled, filed and trimmed. Ben built the wheels using parts old, borrowed and new. She came in at approximately 7 kilos and is truly awful to ride. I was told she snaked her way up the hill like an eel. Ben had fun though, learnt a lot and didn't come last. There's so much romance in that story. I mean, this is what he found. Look at that wheel. No spokes.
Wow.
Rusty old chain. Stripped it.
Incredible.
I mean, those are scary, aren't they, those tubes? He's made out a bit of old fishing pole.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous riding a fishing rod.
Drilled lugs. Don't try this at home, please. But look at it now. And look, here's Ben in action.
Good work.
Look at him go.
I nearly lost it when you said you were from Peterborough and Fenland, because it's not a particularly hilly region, is it, John?
It's not, no. I can imagine the hill climb championships there being over a motorway bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Ben this week, he's up against Chris from Winnipeg in Canada. Now, Chris bought this bike through a local classified ad. It was not rideable. Chris's plan was to use it as his daily commuter, as his previous bike was stolen. And Chris didn't want to spend much on a brand new bike. Now, another reason Chris picked this bike up was because of the frame. It had an aero look. What Chris didn't realise is how much work he needed to do. After stripping the bike right down, the only thing left was the frame and fork. Chris realised the fork had a 1-inch thread. In order to install a newer stem, Chris needed to install a threadless adapter, then upgrade the wheels, the tyres, the brakes, a group set. It's quite a substantial amount there he's had to upgrade, isn't it, from his own pocket. But look at it, look at the change.
Yeah.
I mean, for a start, that stem, that was never a good look, was it, to start with? We're going to be perfectly honest with you, Chris from Winnipeg. But look at it now.
It actually looks like a really cool bike now.
Yeah. Nice bit of artwork in the background too.
Good work.
Yeah, basically you spent a load of cash to upgrade that. But anyway, it's not for us to decide, is it?
No, it's not
for
at
the
all.
viewers. So up there, is it Ben from Peterborough, or is it Chris from Winnipeg? One of you is going to win that workshop apron. Where is it?
A clean one as well.
Yeah, a clean one. So you know what to do. Vote up there, top corner. And remember as well to submit your love stories of your upgrades because, well, we love reading through them. You know, especially when there's been so much thought and care gone into it.
I just like the music, John.
Yeah, I do too, actually. But yeah, vote up there, submit using the uploaded tool. Next week, we'll have 2 more for you to select from. Maybe it'll be you. Right, it's time for the part of the show where you get to vote for your favourite bike out of 2 that we put head to head. Anyway, first up though, we've got to announce the winner of last week, where we put head to head Alejandro and Anna, 2 world road race champs. And the winner, this was a close one, 54% of the votes was Alejandro in that Canyon.
No,
Yeah,
didn't see that coming.
I was surprised at that, to be honest, because it's his stock bike. You know, I say it's standard. It's not standard, but you know, it's standard team colourway.
Yeah.
Whereas Anna, she's got some gold detailing and all that fancy jazz. Anyway, we didn't vote. You lot did.
Yep.
Right, what we got this week?
This week we have the 2 bikes from the top of the show. We have the Ribble e-bike, and that goes up against the Tifosi Mons.
Oh, I tell you what, that is a big old clash, isn't it?
Well, they're quite different, aren't they?
Yeah, an e-bike and a super lightweight bike.
Which one are you going for?
Mind your own business.
Oh, what?
What about you?
I'm going for the e-bike, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go for Tifosi. I love lightweight bikes. That's what I'm going to go
Keep it
for.
balanced.
Yeah, anyway, it's not about us. It's about you. You've got to vote up there, top right-hand corner. Who are you going to go for? The e-bike or the lightweight bike? You decide. Next week, we will reveal the results and have 2 more head-to-head. Oh, no. Where is it? Where is it? Well, we haven't got the belt. Oh, it's on my side. It looks like I'm going to be ringing the bell. Right then. Who have we got this week, mate?
First up is Pokey from San Diego.
Oh,
He has a 20th anniversary Torelli. Campy C record cranks, Campagnolo record shifters, derailleurs, brakes, Chinelli 1R stem, Regina CX3 wheel, Mavic SUP sew-ups.
what a beauty.
And look at the colour of it.
Yeah. Red, white and green tricolor. That's a killer of a bike, isn't it?
It is.
Look at the backdrop.
I know. We want your garage, Pokey. We don't know who you are or where you are exactly.
Yeah.
We want that garage.
Yeah, invite us over, in fact. Right, what are we going to give it? Nice or super nice?
I think that deserves a super nice, to be
It's
honest.
super nice.
Get on the bell.
It pains me. Right, nice one, Pokey. Right, who's up next, mate?
Next up is Jeroen from Belgium.
Oh,
Jeroen has a 9er RLT9 steel frame with threaded bottom bracket, carbon fibre fork, and Brosio Nemesis rims.
that.
He's got challenge tyres on there, 1x setup, DR2 shifting with a clutched derailleur, and a custom chain guard, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. It looks like a ground down outer ring, doesn't it?
Totally, yeah. I think Sven Nace, he used to do that on his bikes. Look at those Ambrosio rims. They're lovely, aren't they? With the little brass valve weight.
No, well, they're pretty much the coolest rim of all time.
Yeah, I would say so. Big fan of rims. Right, he's also got, it looks like one of those shock stop stems or something similar, doesn't it, as well? It looks like a, suspension stem, just giving him a little bit of comfort there at the front end.
Don't put a dampener on it, John.
I mean, it's a lovely bike, that, isn't it?
I imagine those tubs ride absolutely beautifully off-road as well.
Yeah.
I bet they're really
Yeah, they're
supple
big,
and really...
aren't
Yeah.
Handmade.
Well, I think just for the fact there's a lot of thought gone into this, you've
Yeah.
got to give it a super nice.
Yeah, and the fact that he's gone and basically destroyed a perfectly good chain ring and taken the teeth off. Your own, you're getting a ring of the good old-fashioned bet. Nice one, your own. Right, who's next, mate?
We have Brian from St Albans in Vermont, USA.
Woo.
Canyon Aero CF SLX, Reynolds 60mm deep section wheels, Ultegra group set, Ultegra hydraulic brakes, colour matched bar tape, but with just a bit of red by the hoods poking through.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? Right, that is a small cassette on that bike, isn't it? First up, look at it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That must be, what, 1123, do you reckon?
I don't know, maybe it's... I think
Maybe
this
a
actually make me
25.
think- yeah, it could be a 25.
But let us know.
Is that the Cherry Pepper Red Canyon?
I think it is the Cherry Pepper Red Canyon.
I've got one of those.
Of course he has. Right, first up, is that old reclaimed velodrome board that the bike is...
That would deserve a super nice.
Yeah, I think it possibly is. Probably not, but, you know, building it up a bit here. That's a nice looking bike, isn't it?
I like that, yeah.
Yeah. Is it super nice, mate?
Well, I've kind of got one myself, so I feel like it ought to be. I noticed you've not gone for the Aero cockpit.
They've not, have they? No. No.
Let us know why.
Yeah, let us know. But I still think that is absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Come on, look, even the valve cap's the right colour.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? I mean, it's super nice, super nice. Yeah, super nice. Go on then. Right, who's next then?
Next up, we have another sneaky submission. I don't know how this has happened. Well, it's not our control, is it? Pokey from San Diego.
We always blame someone else. Pokey again.
Yep, he's in it again. Fondriste looks to have a mixture of Campo, SRAM, DT Swiss wheels, TRP calipers, brutal looking saddle, and some very cool artwork.
Tell you what, that is an interesting looking top tube, isn't it? I like that. Look at
yeah, right. I love the frame. I'm not a big fan of the wheels that don't match.
I'm a big fan of the cassette.
Yeah.
Look at it. You can hardly see
that's a small cassette job.
That's 1121.
Yeah.
There is no way you are getting up any climbs on that because that's 5330. In fact,
well, they used
could even be 4252. Those chain rings. It's
time pedals. That's a throwback, isn't it?
Are they time? Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I'm not giving that super nice, John, from me because, well, as cool as it is, it's your second submission. You've already had one super nice.
Sneaky one. That one, Pokey, San Diego.
And the rear wheel doesn't match.
That is true, but we do risk not being invited to his garage. Pokey's garage.
It's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah, and it has to be unanimous as well in the vote. So, yeah. Sorry that one, Pokey. Nice bike.
Nice bike.
Right.
Next up.
Final one, isn't it, this one? Who've we got?
Lachlan, Wellington Point in Queensland, Australia, that looks to have Brisbane Harbour in the backdrop. Cannondale
Nice
Super
place.
6 Evo Ultegra group set. Yet to chop the steerer though. Come on.
That's always a risk, isn't it? People sending their bikes without chopping down the steerer.
Yeah. Yeah.
They jumped the gun in my
Maybe it's
opinion.
brand new.
Yeah, maybe,
it's your
yeah.
first ride and
it's-
you're really proud of it. You're taking a picture.
Still trying to find that ideal position.
You know, my absolute favourite thing about Cannondales is that their top tubes barely slope. They still have that really nice traditional shape.
Yeah, traditional bikes. Absolutely love a traditional bike. That saddle is dangerously far back, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a big bike, isn't it? He's definitely a tall guy.
Yeah, what's that, 56, 58?
It's got to be, surely,
Yeah.
judging by the head tube.
Yeah, that's always what I look at when I go to look at a bike size. Always look at the head tube. Weird that, isn't it? I'm not sure if it's super nice though.
I feel the same.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad.
I always feel really guilty.
It's still a really
don't know
nice.
if-
I'd still love to have that bike.
Yeah, I
I'd still
don't
be
know if-
really happy with it.
I wonder if the guys in the dirt shed feel as guilty as we do.
They
don't give someone
have
super
no
nice.
emotion.
Do they not?
No. Their
Oh,
mountain
right.
bike is
In that
still-
case then, that is a nice bike.
It's a saddlebag that turned it off.
Yeah, I've tried to do that with loads of authority, but I still feel really bad. Anyway, you know what to do. Submit your bike using the uploader tool down there in the description, and maybe, just maybe, your bike will make it through. Literally, we've had thousands and thousands come through, so unfortunately we can't put them all in. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. Right, there we are. Nearly time for the end of the show, and I absolutely hate this bit because it's sad, isn't it? Let's face it.
It's
We've
been
got
a
to
lovely
say
afternoon.
goodbye. Yeah, we've had fun, haven't we? It's not often we get to spend actually a lot of time together.
I thought you were going to say it's not often we have fun together.
No, that'd be a lie. We do have a lot of laughs. Now, what have we got coming up this week then? Well, we sent James Lousley Williams to ride a fixed gear crit in Milan, didn't we?
And he did a good job too.
Yeah, we're not going to reveal that quite yet though, but we've got loads of tech from Milan and what he got up to there too. So stay tuned for that. So remember to subscribe to the channel and also click that little bell notification icon so you get notified each time we put up more great content. And also remember to like and share this video with your friends. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the GCN shop, shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. We've got a whole heap of products, haven't we?
We have, yeah, new t-shirts and everything.
Oh, tell you what, people, they can't get enough of what we're wearing, can they? Now, remember as well to check out another video, click just down. Where should we click?
I reckon down here.
Yeah, just over there. Click there.